All right, FSX5, the Yamaha. I'm starting at the middle of the road because it's actually become my main gigging guitar. Likes and dislikes. I do like the finish. I find that it's simple and elegant. I like the pickup. I wish it had a 5-ply neck like my other guitars. I just like the idea of it and the stability, and honestly, I like the look. The open gear tuners I find beautiful. I have no desire to change them. I find them very precise and elegant. I do enjoy the size of the FS over the FG. I do prefer the bass of the big FG. However, with the Japanese made one, I can turn the bass up on the Yamaha electronics, and I can get it to my liking through a good quality sound system, especially when I'm performing live. I don't find that this guitar gets lost in the mix. I can change the mix, and because of that, it's become, and the comfort of actually playing it, it's become my main gigging guitar. I will play a G through just the condenser mic so you can get an idea of the sustain and sound acoustically. For the money, excellent, 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 excellent guitar. I will throw out that if you are going to buy one, I highly recommend getting the Gator Classic hard plastic case. It fits it absolutely perfect, as if it were made for it. It's spectacular. And just to give you an idea, this is it's in there. It's absolutely perfect for this guitar. Moving on to the cheapest guitar. LS6. This is the rosewood one. Dislikes and likes. It is a beautiful guitar, especially in the used market. I managed to find this for $300. I don't like the tuners. I find them very, very cheap and kind of sloppy and loose, but for the price. I do like the finish. I like the sound. I love that it's still got the 5-ply neck on such an inexpensive guitar, and I find the fit and finish very, 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 very quality for the price. New prices to new prices, I would still get the FSX5 all day. I would pay twice the money and get that over the LS6. Used, maybe the LS6 is a better buy. I have this because I got a bargain on it. I'm not crazy about the binding and the finish. I'm not crazy about the rosewood fingerboard. I much prefer ebony. The bite on the FSX5 on the frets is effortless. Once it's set up properly by a luthier, the bite, it takes almost no effort to play. It's just an absolute joy to play. I will say that for the money, the sustain on this guitar, especially a small body guitar, is absolutely excellent. So here's the G. Maybe it's the rosewood versus mahogany. This sounds brighter to me in my ear. Personally, that's going to come up to you. Personally, I prefer the sound of the FS, but maybe I'm biased because I just prefer playing it. I like the way the neck feels. I like the looks better of it. But it's also a significantly more expensive guitar. With that, I will go, just for comparison's sake, I was lucky enough to find an LJ26. If you don't know about these, you can look at JP Cormier. There's folks that have talked about this guitar. It's a handmade Japanese Yamaha, and it's older, so it's going to have more ring. It's broken in. This is about 10 years old. I will own this guitar until I die. This is my absolute favorite guitar. I don't think there's any guitar that really compares as far as the sound. One, it's a jumbo body. Obviously, I have a deeper voice, and a jumbo body works really well when I'm singing in baritone or bass. ebony fretboard. The action is perfect. The neck is super stiff, being a five ply neck. It goes all the way through. It's a one piece, all the way through. It's been shaped. It has open back tuners. Not the most beautiful guitar in the world, but the sound is spectacular. So hopefully you can listen to these all back to back. Maybe I'll edit it, maybe I won't, you can play all three. But here's a G with the LJ26, handmade Japanese. Very, very wonderful guitar. And that's with old strings that need to be replaced. So, final thoughts. My favorite guitar, the one I'll own for the rest of my life, LJ26. You can't beat the craftsmanship of a handmade guitar. I don't care if it's a Yamaha, I don't care if it's a Furch, I don't care if it's a Martin, I don't care if it's a Taylor. If it's a handmade guitar by a luthier, you can tell from the first note if it's special or not. Gibson is good as well, but I've found personally when I go someplace that there are Gibsons that play like garbage, and then there are Gibsons that are absolutely spectacular. There are Martins that I'm not terribly happy with, and then there's Martins that are spectacular. With Yamaha and Taylor, they all seem to have very tight specifications, and they all seem to be spectacular. So if I was going to buy online, sight unseen, zero qualms about a handmade Yamaha, zero qualms about a Taylor. They're just super consistent, and if you talk to any luthier, they'll tell you the same thing. And I'm forever grateful to the luthier that put these on my radar. The FSX5. Love the electronics, love the guitar. I find it incredibly comfortable to play. It might be on the list as well. I can't see a scenario where I ever sell it. It's been my main gigging guitar. It's the one I grab the most often when I'm at home. Even if all three guitars are sitting next to each other in a case, I tend to grab the FSX5. I wish it had more bass acoustically, but that's usually solved when I'm plugged in. I find it very comfortable to play 2-3 hours at a time, and I'm going to stick with it. The LS serves a different role. It's being basically a plywood guitar. I mean, it's rosewood laminate. It seems very stable when I change elevation. I'll take it camping, hunting. I took it to Mexico, and it did very well. Even being in Rocky Point on the beach where it's incredibly humid, it did very well. So between the three, I think I have about the perfect system. I've had a Taylor GS Mini. I got rid of it. It sounded soulless to me. I do prefer the LS6 over the GS Mini. The size is very similar, and I find that the length of the neck is better for me to play with my bigger fingers. And it's almost identical to play as far as feeling to my other guitar. Otherwise, everything's a compromise. If you are not willing to compromise, the handmade Japanese, the LL26, the LS26, and LJ26, I've played them all, are spectacular. The LJ with the bass is my absolute favorite. I find with the FSX5, I can plug it in through a good mixer and a good sound system, and it sounds identical to the FG. So if you do prefer a smaller guitar, Alamo Music is right. The electronics are spectacular, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better guitar for the money. Alrighty, good luck folks, good luck in your guitar search.